Tonight, we start the show with the word good evening. Perhaps you'd like to write that down. I'll spell it out for you. G-O-O-D. And more later. We continue with a correspondent who has asked the best way to stop mice from coming downstairs in the early morning into the kitchen. The answer is hide their trousers while they're asleep at night. Did you know that Albert Wamsgrove has a few of his famous trouser leg sleeves left? It's the perfect gift for the man who likes to put his arms down his trouser legs so that he can walk home on his hands. Oh, my heavens, it's time for Studying Advertisement Corner. Over there to you, Jim.
Would the gentleman who waggled his ears at the lady in the green Macintosh near Euston Station on the 3rd of November please communicate with the 9 happy nebulos due to a television audition?
Lighthouse keeper, tall and ill, would like to start correspondence with Lady Bonesetter with a view to matrimony. Small hands preferred.
Experienced conjurer seeks post as butler. Would produce bent egg from soft hat or goldfish from soup.
Gentleman, son of lady and gentleman, seeks employment of a gentlemanly nature with lady and gentleman, or gentleman and lady, or both.
At the old barn, Bogglesham, next Tuesday. The nudist thespians present their nudist version of Much Ado About Nothing.
Any questions? No. And now I should like to present the first in a series of pictorial tennis hints. Let us begin with this. This is how a medium-priced family-sized tennis ball that most beginners prefer looks like in flight. Mark it well. And this... Now, this is the ball that is moving very fast. No, it isn't. This is a tennis ball at rest. Right? Now, next we have here a ball that has been served from south-southwest, going due northwest, southeast by west. Of course, if you're on the other side of the net, then it's going southeast. And now, if anybody serves you a ball like this, return it at once. Now, to Big White Carstairs, the man with the stiff upper lip, so stiff he can open a bottle with it. Let's find out what the fool's been up to.
Who is that out there? Great heavens, Carstairs, you're back. We hoped. That is, we thought you were dead.
No, not dead. Alive. Incredible adventures across Wadji Desert.
Wadji Desert? But that's impossible.
Yes, I know it is. I had my dress clothes eaten by white ants. I had to dine in these.
Good God.
But I was alone, sir.
Well, that's no excuse.
After that, my water ran out. Couldn't shave.
Oh, you poor devil. Sit down and have a drink.
Thank you, sir.
Good trip.
Not bad, yes. Well, mustn't grumble. I met an unknown tribe, the Magonka-wee-wees. Their head chap, Mbabwa, decent fella, wants to come to London, pledge loyalty, that sort of thing. Could you lay it on, sir?
Unknown tribe, eh? That could be a feather in our caps. What sort of entourage would he expect to take with him?
Oh, I've got his list here, sir.
Oh.
Those blasted ants. Oh, here it is, yes. Well, apart from Mbabwa himself, there's Jum Jum the sacred crocodile, Ugly the witch doctor, 18 wives, 38 devil dancers, 41 pygmies, a sorcerer, an astrologer, a mad spearman, and a baboon.
Rather a lot.
No, it'll mean a great deal to secure Mbabwa's friendship, sir. The Magonka-wee-wees have got the biggest deposits of Ufkanula in Africa.
Yes, of course. What exactly is Ufkanula?
I don't know. They've got a devil of a lot of it.
Well, I'll cable London, but I can't promise anything. This crocodile will have to be quarantined.
But it can't be parted from Mbabwa, sir. It's sacred.
How do you mean exactly sacred?
They worship it.
Oh, they're not C of E then.
Afraid not.
Oh, well. And all these wives. Good heavens, this won't go down well with the Women's Institute.
Couldn't you say a ladies' rugger team with travelling reserves, that sort of thing?
Yes, possibly. And this man Ugly, the witch doctor.
Oh, he's a wonderful fellow. He can foretell the weather from the entrails of a goat.
Well, he should be useful at the Met Office. Oh, but then the astrologer and the sorcerer and all these devil dancers. No, Carstairs, it's not on, definitely not on. Not for all the Afghanula in Africa.
Well, I suppose you're right, sir. It'll just mean another bit of red crossed off the map, of course, but... Well, I don't blame you for not wanting anything to do with the fella.
Oh?
He doesn't dress for dinner. He doesn't dress for anything.
Oh.
Doctor, whenever I lower my head to look backwards through my legs, I notice I'm being followed by a small, web-footed clergyman pushing a yellow wheelbarrow.
It's a common complaint nowadays. The medical term for it is caveat clarimentus. I'll write you a prescription.
What for?
Why, Snibbo, of course.
Doctor, I've been chosen as wing 3/4 for the Northampton Wives Rugby 15. And it's all due to Snibbo.
And no web-footed clergyman pushing yellow wheelbarrows follow you into the scrum?
No fear.
I must take Snibbo myself.
Use Snibbo.
And now, a few words of warning. Look out! Watch it! An acquaintance of mine saw an immigration poster that said Australia for £10 only. He paid his £10. When he got the country home, he realized he couldn't get it in the room. And now, over to Dr. Strabismus, whom God preserve of Utrecht.
Good evening. This week's lecture in the series, The Instruments of the Orchestra and the Unusual Uses to which they can be put, I have called How to Make a Maximum Security Prison from Four Harps. Such a place has become a necessity following a wave of brutal attacks on Vivaldi and Aristide, which culminated last week in a daring raid on the Albert Hall when 4 masked trombone players held up Beethoven's 6th Symphony for 9 hours. First of all, you build your pleasant soul, placing the harps like this. 1, around you go, little pebble. 2, 3, and 4. Now then, get the convict inside. So. Next, for a short time, the prisoner may feel he is in the heaven. But no, he will soon come back to earth when you give him tasks to do. This could include slicing the bread for the prison breakfast. Of course, it is going through much better when it is buttered. Now then, meantime, the sounds of harp playing are soothing the other prisoners. And they are also reassuring the guards that all is well. Should the sounds suddenly become discordant and angry, this means the prisoner is either playing Shostakovich or trying to escape. So, either way, the guards will come running because they only like the Warsaw Concerto. Of course, the prisoner may try to escape by soaring through the strings of the harp, using a bow that has been smuggled in a cello-shaped cake or a cake-shaped cello. Here, then, is the perfect prison for the musicians. In such surroundings, he will soon get his sentence reduced from 6 months hard piano concertos to 2 months light violin cadenzas. Next week, how to get the best out of terrain spotting with a viola. Goodbye, Butch.
The second installment of How to Spell Good Evening. E-V-E. More later. I had a letter from 20 apiarists who have spent their lifetimes outside a beehive. And they have asked, what is it like to be inside a beehive? Well, will you face your screens, right? Now go zzz. Right, now for some medical hints, let us join Nurse Brackshaw, who has helped many people, many healthy people, to the grave.
A laughing mother from Ilgerton asks how she should deal with a man who, through no fault of his own, has got his foot stuck halfway down his throat whilst doing a somersault to amuse children. If it is the right foot, Smear the throat with Vaseline and pull the foot out carefully. At this time of year, of course, many horses are prone to nose bleeding. If this should happen to your horse, just pop a large key down its back. That gives him the hiccups. Then make him drink backwards out of a bucket of water with an axe in it. My last hint this week is to a correspondent from Polperro who writes, "My ears are so large that they break windows on either side of narrow streets on windy days. What can I do? Walk sideways." More hints soon.
Tonight, we begin what I think is the most vital and human detective story ever written. It is about a rich man living in the country who was not murdered in his library by his butler. He was not murdered in his library by his butler. That was for the death. That is the key to this astounding mystery which introduces to you for the first time one of the greatest of living frictional detectives, Inspector Jack Malpractice. The story is called Dead Man's Alibi, and it's by a new writer, Nollington Faggot. Begin it tonight, or tomorrow night, or any night.
Inspector Jack Malpractice of the Yard. Stay where you are, everyone.
We're alone, sir.
Oh.
I'm very honoured to meet you, sir.
Let's skip the standard evening, Constable. Just read me your report.
It's a rum business and no nard in it, sir, as we say in these parts.
We've no time for your idle theories at this stage of the game, Constable. You will realize that I am a man who acts entirely according to the evidence.
Well, sir, at 4 a.m., I was returning from early morning coffee at the Mothers' Union when I saw a light streaming from the open French windows of Swigney Hall here. And I knew that could mean only one thing. Sir Henry Fuzzock had been murdered.
Quick thinking, Constable.
So I proceeded to the spot with all speed.
You sure you neither moved nor touched anything?
Oh, positive, sir. This is the room exactly as I found it, sir. No body in the ornate chair, no sign of any struggle, not even a blunt instrument by the telephone, sir.
Dear God, what a grisly scene. You did well to call in the yard, Booby. I shouldn't be at all surprised if there wasn't promotion in this for you.
I was only doing my duty, sir.
Oh, yes, of course. Forget the promotion. Now then, you knew Sir Henry well. Can you think of a motive?
Murder, sir?
It smells pretty fishy to me.
Could it be a red herring, sir?
That is what you and I have got to find out. You realize there is nothing to show that anybody has been here except you and me.
I don't quite follow the line of your investigation, sir.
Elementary, my dear Booby. At this stage of the game, I have to suspect everyone, including myself.
Oh, in that case, sir, I should have to caution you that anything you say will...
Don't be a fool, Booby. There is, of course, the footprint of the raven in the herbaceous border, but that hardly accounts for the lack of the body in the library.
I don't know, sir.
What don't you know?
Nothing, sir. I just don't know, sir.
I see. I think it's time I questioned Mrs. Keckridge.
You rang, Inspector?
You can leave us, Constable.
Yes, sir.
Now, my dear lady, where were you at 4 a.m. this morning?
In bed, Inspector.
Any witnesses?
Unfortunately, no.
Fond of jewelry?
No.
Don't be evasive. Answer me this question. Where did Sir Henry keep his jewels?
On me. May I go now?
Yes. But don't try to leave the environs of Tunbridge Wells.
But we're in Leatherhead.
The plot thickens. Firstly, we haven't a body, but that may be a ruse to make me think about it in another room. And then 2, there are all the signs here of a man fiercely fighting for his life. And then, let me see, 3. Of course, how diabolically clever. Booby!
Sir!
Booby! Where did you say there were all the signs of a blunt instrument?
With that telephone, sir.
Of course. How devilishly clever. Just as I thought. The wires have not been cut.
Early next morning, at Quantum Prison, nobody was hung for the murder. It had to happen. The immortal anthology of Huntington Chapman is to be brought to the screen under the title The Blue Cap Man. Surging into cinematic life from the fiery pages of the nation's most acclaimed bestseller, it promises to be, to filmgoers, the experience of a lifetime. Here is just one of its unforgettable moments.
Postleton, E.J.
Rousseau.
Has there ever been anyone else?
Yes.
Who?
John Burley, PR. Trouser, BVD. Oakhampton, W. Grimshaw, the younger.
Oh, my God.
Oh, but that's all over now.
All over?
There's
Only me?
yes, and Prosser, DB.
Prosser. D.B.
My husband.
Oh. Oh, darling.
They're just good friends, really. I see that a man in Burslem is carrying out research work with a view to crossing salmon with mosquitoes. He says it will mean a bite every time for the fishermen. Back in a minute.
Seated one day at the organ, I was weary and lacking élan. What ailed my Bach toccata? What affected my Couperin? It seemed that my vox humana warbled a note of regret. Maestro, it seemed to whisper, where's your thoroughgrip garterette?
His fingers may wander idly, but the cord he's looking for is the one of Malayan elastic and Canadian twine, found only in a Threadgold's Thoroughgrip Garterette.
Threadgold's Thoroughgrip, Threadgold's Thoroughgrip, Threadgold's Thoroughgrip, Garterette.
That hilarious expression, "don't speak ill of the dead," appears to have been rendered even more quaint by the conspiracy to malign the memory of Stephen Knuckles McGurgle, the late lamented husband of that doyen of all seaside landladies, Mrs. Florence McGurgle. But what is the real story behind the story? Mervyn Glue probes even deeper.
Firstly, one man who fears nothing from beyond the grave, or indeed, even you, Mrs. McGurgle, Oscar Sugridge.
I knew old Flash, which is what we laughingly called Mr. McGurgle at Clipper and Radlett's warehouse. His deeds live on, which was more than he did. The vice versa might have been more preferable. When I recall Mr. McGurgle's performance with a bottle of stout before a thirsty dinner table at Marine House, one can only think of that old Marquis of de Sade. Half a bottle of milk stout between 12 is not exactly a orgy. I once said to him, "Where's the biggest boozer in town?" "I'm looking at him," he said. Oh, when he had a few drinkers at his mercy, he could be very cruel man indeed, very cruel.
A harsh, brutal charge. You were at that memorable meal, Mrs. McGurgle. Does Sugridge speak truth?
There are those who, baser than the serpent's tooth, attempt to bite the hand that once did succour them. A hand, I may add, that is no longer with us. And if the stout did not flow like water at our table, is that not to the credit of Marine House? McGurgle needed no bar in his front parlour. His home was his public house, water his tipple. But he was no less gay and sporty than they whose veins run with liquid poison and whose limbs tremble at the breakfast table like the proverbial aspirin leaves.
Others, too, wish to enter the list re the late Mr. McGurgle. His sister, Frida Rumty.
My brother abhorred strong drink, and once, when a drunken sailor on the 552 from Waterloo to Portsmouth changed hats with him unasked, my brother gave him a stare that would have turned a basilica to stone. Stone.
Thank you, Frida Rumty. Since this news analysis began, a new and disturbing element has been unearthed by our team of researchers. Come in, Sid Telgrove.
Florrie McGurgle, Florrie Palmer as was, has certainly sobered up a bit. My word, there were evenings at the Duck and Magpie which would have made her future Lord and Master's hair stand on end. Florrie used to sing, "Tap, tap, tap, it's not the postman." And then she and Fred Townham would do a Russian dance, spits and all, with 2 kitchen knives between their teeth. I wonder if Florrie recalls the evening when yours truly put a bloater down her back.
A fishy tale. And one I warrant that Mrs. McGurgle will not readily let off the hook.
Mr. Talgrove, who is but a faded image from my courting days, seems surprised that I have not remained the giddy young girl whose God was pleasure. It is one thing, Mr. Glue, to stand at the threshold of life's doorway and to raise the bubbling cup of youth to inexperienced lips. It is quite another thing to be the chosen consort of a serious-minded warehouseman and manager of an old established boarding house that is my pride and joy. We landladies, Mr. Glue, are but cogs in that vast machine which is the lodger's world. And as one of the very least of those cogs, permit me to say that without cogs, to where would you get to?
From the hub of the universe, this has been Mervyn Glue.
Without his cogs, by the sound of it. Ballet today is at a low ebb. Its peak days are over. What used to be a vital part of our cultural life is but a shadow of its former self. At a recent first night, a pas de deux, or roughly translated mother of 3, fled from the theatre, laughing uncontrollably and yelling, "If that's a grand jeté, my left leg is Wigan Pierre." In the face of the Philistines, our expert, Eric Badger.
I viewed the revival of Spectre du Fromage with an insouciance and joie de vivre that was frankly found as yet. But here is ballet at its most evocative. From the opening pas de cheval, when Tumble-Over rises dreamily from the cheese, to the closing thrilling Shena, when, to the chagrin of all the fairies, the 2 old queens hike to the deck for the affections of the young prince. It is a bacchanalian orgy which must appeal to the aesthetic sixth sense of the aficionado. Serge Trouserin, who is all male, but who has little to do with it, strives to suggest with his demi-part, his retroussement, and his superb saut de basque, a spirit out of tune with mundane affairs. A very good try. But after his dresser's unfortunate oversight in the transformation scene, I fear that some of the less generous balletomanes may refer to him as Serge Trouserless.
He was cutting it pretty fine, I thought. Thwarted in his quest to wrest the famed sapphire girdle from the exotic dingy fools, Colonel Egham, in a story that reeks of old Tibet, found himself once again outside her palace in Dung. The year was 1942 and Britain and Germany were locked in war. Not even his own horse would have recognized the intrepid warrior as he made his way to the presence of the beautiful temptress who once made such a fool of him. Who let this thing Now remember, Typhooti, I am not Colonel Egham, but Mr. Bunsen, the famous Swedish botanist. Remember that. It could be a matter of life and death. Yours. Now lead on.
Welcome, Mr. Bunsen. And to my humble palace, and welcome to your native servant as well.
Himalaya.
Oh, good. But tell me, Mr. Bunsen, what is a Swedish botanist doing messing around in dung?
I'm filling my bottles with wee specimens. I'm very fond of wee Tibetan flowers.
You have no further plans?
I thought you had the plans.
What plans, Herr Bunsen?
Oh, excuse me, Herr me. This is Herr Kurt von Kreitfleisch, and this is Herr Henrik von Knuckleduster.
How do you do?
We have ways of making people talk, Herr Bunsen. What plans?
What do you mean plans? I wasn't talking about plans. Plants. Plants. Of course, in Sweden, the tea is silent.
Oh, how's the coffee?
That's pretty quiet, too.
Herr Bunsen, I must ask you, are you for us or against us?
Look here, damn you. Gebausen, nicht rocken, Ausgang, Spitzen on the Spatzen,
Nicht spitzen on the floor.
You do and you will wipe me down. Good. He's one of us. We can go now.
I'm one of them.
You are very wise to join us, Herr Bunsen.
Really?
The Germans are advancing in Europe, in Russia, and soon they will be in London.
Really? Read that.
I took a lorry ride to shame. Curates can't have secrets, says Judge.
You see? Now the other side.
Oh, British advance in Europe,
Yes.
in Russia, and soon they will be in London. They have deceived me. But how do I know that this is genuine?
An Englishman can never fool a lady.
Colonel! Is it really you?
Yes, it's me, your own Eddie. But we can't go on meeting like this.
Oh, why will you put your nose into this hornet's nest?
So that's what it is. I've come here, my dear, to find the German plans for the invasion of India.
Kite-Fleisch has them, but I will help you.
Of course I love the Fuhrer. One of my best friends are Marlene Dietrich underneath the lamppost. I love them all.
Herr Bunsen!
Yes?
Tell me!
Yes?
Why does the Swedish botanist wear a wig?
I don't know. Why does the Swedish botanist...
Bunsen, your sense of humor will be the death of you. Why do you wear a wig?
To fool Anglo-Saxon spies.
Good! Herr Bunsen?
Yes?
You are one of us.
Really? Which one of you am I?
Very good. Good. Show him the plan.
Yeah.
But wait.
What?
Tell me, Herr Bunsen, why does the Swedish botanist carry English postcards? And remember, Kalbfleisch will not take 9 for an answer.
8, then.
Dankeschön. Herr Bunsen,
Yes?
the postcard.
I happen to be the assistant postmaster for Plungley Doon.
Natürlich. We are most impolite to doubt you. Here are the plans. Study them at your leisure.
Well, gentlemen, perhaps you would like a glass of 20-year-old rancid cream sherry.
Of course, my
And
love.
we can drink a toast to Swedish, German, Tibetan friendship.
yeah.
Don't drink it.
Don't drink it.
Don't drink it. Don't. Why? Why?
Why?
It's poison.
It's poison.
It's poison. It's... Huh? Poison?
Poison?
Oh,
Here's to His Majesty.
What?
The Fuhrer. And to Her Majesty, Himmler. Yes, he'll get anywhere with that. Good color.
One thing hung too low.
oh.
Yeah.
Bottoms up.
Carruthers, MI5.
Will the poisoned arsenic seal his fate? Can dingy pools be trusted? Is two company and three a kraut? Is it a joke? For the answer to these and many other questions, wait for episode 2.
That was episode 2, you fool.
Shut up! If you're waiting for episode 2, you're waiting for a long time. Now then, last week a stockbroker in the city was told, "Excuse me, sir, your wife has fallen." Well, don't stand there, he said. Sell. And by the way, the rest of the word is being spelt N-I-N-G. Ning, ning.